presented by Mr. Jiji Mammen, Executive Director and CEO, Sa-Dhan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him with a huge round of applause. And once again, requesting our team member to kindly present a bouquet by welcoming him. Everyone, come on. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little bit cold day today. Compared to the other days, of this winter season, I think today I feel a bit more cold. I'm sure the deliberations here will make us all more warmer, and by the time you go out of this hall, you will become much more warmer and better and ready to go for it with your business activities. Really thankful to the organizers, Mr. Anubhav and his team, for inviting me for this event. It's always a good thing to be part of this B2B Info Media event. I had been attending it for the last the previous 2 times also I was here. The best part of this event is that you find a lot of youngsters, bubbling youngsters in front of you. That gives you a lot of energy. As you know that with the onset of winter, you have it's a conference time. It's a seminars, conferences, one after another is happening, and many of us keep bumping each other in the conferences. For the last 2-3 days, I think I had been meeting a couple of people on a regular basis in one forum or other. So this particular conference or today's one-day event is definitely an important thing, because NBFCs play an important role in the financial sector of the country. Gone are those days when NBFCs were termed as a shadow bank. It's no more a shadow bank. It's a frontline banker. It's a frontline financing institutions. With around 20-22% of credit share, nobody can ignore this segment. And with the advancement of technology, it is going in leaps and bounds. Yesterday I was seeing one data, how the Fintechs have helped in growth of the credit flow in the country. In 2019, the total credit flow from the Fintech sector was somewhere around 6,500 crores. And in 23, it has gone up to 30,200 crores. That is a kind of growth. Perhaps Mr. Taman also made a cautionary mention, maybe because of that, the kind of growth which we are seeing in the Fintech world, in the NBFC world. NBFCs, the best part of the NBFC is that it is something which helps the unfunded, the unreached, the far-flung people to get the formal credit. We all know that financial inclusion is an agenda for the government. In financial inclusion, credit becomes an important aspect. Of course, when we say the financial inclusion, opening of account is what we generally think about. And there has been a huge campaign under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, and we have seen how the campaign has been successful. Almost 90% of the adult population has a bank account today. With more than 50 crore Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana accounts, Jan Dhan accounts, and more than 2 trillion Indian rupee deposits in the banks, it has been a huge success. So one part of the financial inclusion is opening account that has been achieved. And that is achieved mainly due to the technology, the India Stack, the JAM Trinity. These are the things which has enabled the opening of account in such a large scale. Second is about the credit part of it. In credit, we have been seeing growth across the spectrum, across the different landscape of the financial institutions. But the growth in the non-banking financial companies has been a major boost for the financial inclusion in the country. Especially a segment which I am representing, the microfinance institutions. Some of my colleagues, some of my friends are here in this hall. The microfinance institutions have been playing a major role as far as the credit to the last mile is concerned. Today, with about 3.8 lakh crores of financing done by the microfinance sector, and to more than 70 million unique borrowers, it's a major contributor to the financial inclusion. So that's why I said the NBFCs play an important role, and definitely Fintechs adds to that. The beauty of Fintech is that it can reach anywhere, anytime. And so that kind of a strength of the Fintech is helping us in the right way. Especially the collaborations Fintechs have with the formal system, formal banking system, or the NBFCs, the frontline NBFCs, that brings an added energy and a synergy to the whole process. So that's how the process should go forward, and that's how we should be aiming to help the poor people, the unreached people, the excluded people. Of course, there are some cautions are there to be taken care of when you are growing in such a huge way. There has to be cautions needed, because we have seen in the past when going is good, things have gone. Some things have gone wrong also, and in the process, sometimes it has suffered. We have seen it in microfinance sector very much. When Andhra crisis happened in 2010, it's mainly because the micro lending was happening in such a scale, with such a kind of enormity. There were no checks and balances, and it resulted in some kind of a crisis where the government had to step in and put some restrictions. Of course, thereafter we got a regulation by the Reserve Bank of India, which has set the whole sector in order. Today, it's microfinance sector. I can very well say it's one of the well managed, one of the best regulated segment as far as financial institutions are concerned. Apart from the Reserve Bank of India giving us playing as a regulator, the self-regulatory organizations like Sa-Dhan is also keeping a closer watch to us. So probably one of the solution to the kind of the checks we need to have is to have a self-regulatory mechanism. I'm sure FIDC is doing some kind of a self-regulatory mechanism as far as the NBFCs are concerned. Similarly, there has to be some self-regulatory mechanism in the Fintech world also. That can keep us, because as a self-regulatory organization, we know the pulse of the players, as well as we also need the requirement of the regulator. And with both the things together, we can play much more a positive role. One of the things I just wanted to bring to your notice is about today, as we see, the credit growth is quite well. In microfinance sector, I know that even in NBFCs for that matter, the growth has been somewhere around 20-25%. It's quite a good growth, and it's, of course, as Mr. Mammen said, the potential is so huge. Yesterday, in one of the presentations, I was seeing that out of the 80 crore of the working population in the country, the working population means those between the age of 18 to 60, around 80 crore is our population in India. After that, only around 250 crore, 25 crore only have been so far availed of credit so far. So there is a lot of people who definitely needs money. There are a lot of people who needs more money. Because it's not the credit, providing credit itself is not sufficient, but the credit, providing the adequate level of credit is also an important aspect. So credit deepening, widening, both are equally important. So this is a huge potential in front of us. And we have been seeing that growth happening, and I'm sure it will continue for many more years because of the kind of potential we have. One of the things which I would like to bring to your notice is about the kind of caution we need to take when you go for financing. See, financing, as I said, the current environment is so conducive, there will be a kind of a temptation to go and give more and more of money. This should not result in a over-indebtedness anyway. Because we are fortunate to have a credit bureaus, excellent credit bureau system in our country. But unfortunately, the credit bureau is not capturing all the data. It captures the data of only the regulated entities. It regulates entities like banks, NBFCs, maybe NBFC MFIs. It's only the regulated entities' data is only getting captured. But there are other kind of lending also happening in the space, the same space. There's a lot of overlap between the lending happening by different institutions. So here is where we need to have a caution. We have been seeing that, especially I'm talking about the microfinance sector. The microfinance sector, you have microfinance players who are there in the field. Along with them, you have NBFCs also doing the lending. Of course, their data gets captured by the credit bureau, and it becomes easy for a new lender to assess how much is already the liability existing. But there are certain data, like maybe for that matter, the Nidhi companies are also active in some of the geographies, some of the areas. The data doesn't get captured. SHG Bank Linkage program is a huge program in the microfinance sector. SHG Bank Linkage today is worth more than 2 lakh crores outstanding. That is not getting captured in the credit bureau. There are cooperative banks who are lending in many parts of the country. Cooperative banks are quite actively lending. Their data doesn't get captured in the credit bureau system. Some of the fintechs who are not regulated entities. If they are lending, their data doesn't get captured. So what I'm trying to say is that one has to be a little more cautious, careful in lending, and because we should not end up in a situation where the money goes and makes a burden to the person. Recently, we had some unfortunate incidents happening across our different states. Especially, I have seen it in Kerala happening. In Rajasthan, it was there reported. In Orissa, it was there. So there are some states we have seen that the burden of larger credit liability or the loan liability has resulted in some kind of suicides and all. So we should take care of that part of it. It's not only to take care of the burden of the person who are borrowing, but it's also good for the institution who is lending. Otherwise, you will also be ending up in NPAs and bad loans. So this is something which we need to really look at. And in fintech space, when the loans become so easy to be accessed, probably there will be a kind of a temptation for the people who are availing the loan to take more and more. That is where the trouble starts. So my request to all of you who are sitting here is that we have to be careful when you are doing a lending. As Mr. Raman said, if we are able to take care of the right kind of approach, we will all be gaining. Not only we will be gaining, the society will gain, the people will gain. It will help the financial inclusion to go in a stronger way. I'm sure the people sitting here are quite aware of all these things. I don't have anything more to say. Let me wish all the best to today's event. I'm sure today's deliberations have seen the kind of various discussions you have planned out. It's going definitely quite useful, and at the end of the day, we'll all be going back with much more enriched and more knowledgeable. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Requesting Mr. Ashish to please present a memento to Mr. Jiji Mammen. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge round of applause. And indeed, we are looking for a fruitful day. Well, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to present